Hey everyone, Mike here with Hoyt Running Chairs. Um, and I'm here with my son Mike as well. And we're going to show you how to adjust the disc brake side of your blade if there's some rubbing that you're experiencing with a disc brake. So I'm going to turn the camera over, turn it around, the mic. He's going to go over it with you. All right.
So here I'm using the 5mm tool that you'll get, your multi-tool that you'll get with each blade. So with the disc here, it's all gonna be on which side of the pad that your disc is rubbing on. It's either gonna be the outside pad or the inside pad that your disc is gonna be rubbing on if it's rubbing. So here I'm gonna be spinning with this particular one. If you look, I don't know if you can see it, it's rubbing on the outside pad. So, to try to fix this situation, what you're going to have to do is you take your 5mm, like I said, and on the outside of the brake here, there's this screw, I would call it, I guess. You're just going to do a quarter turn to the left to bring that outside pad out away from the disc. You don't want to do a big turn. You just want to do slightly, because you don't want to do too much. You don't want to change the brake that much. So now you just want to give it another spin. You can still hear it's rubbing a little bit, so I know I need to just back it off a little bit more. You don't want to back it off too much, because if you do, if I were to really back this off, it's going to make the braking not as strong. You're going to have to go through more of the clicks before the brake can activate and completely slow down the tire, the wheel. So, now I just loosened it a little bit more. We'll see what it sounds like. It's rubbing just barely, and not on the whole disc. It's just one spot on the disc it's rubbing. So again, a little tiny quarter turn. Rub again, and we seem to be all set. If you can see, the disc should be pretty much centered.
Yeah, I'm angling that camera. I got it right there.
You can see the disc is centered.
See the light on both sides.
Yep. And then I'm gonna engage. You can see the pad on the left side comes in and pushes them to where the disc is engaged and stopped. That is if your disc is rubbing on the outside. If your disc is rubbing from the inside pad, there's a completely different solution for this. It's a little bit more hand dexterity that you're going to need to do this, but you can fix it all the same. So what you're going to have to do is down here at this nut right here that holds your brake cable. You can see it comes down. Your brake cable is being held by this nut here, and that's that. That is holding your inside disc pad. So what you're going to have to do is loosen this completely, and it's going to drop this arm a little bit, which will make the inside disc pad go left towards the blade. Now you might want to go back and look to see what they can, just to show them. So when I'm pulling this lever up, when you're engaging the brake, it's pulling this lever up, which ends up pushing the inside brake pad.
Hold on, let me get a good view of that. Can you release it, Mike? Yep, there you go. Mike, if you don't mind, shift your left leg over, because your jeans are blocking that. There we go. See, that's great. I can see the light going in and out.
So that's what this left lever does. So to strengthen the left pad in,
let me come back around.
So if your disc is rubbing too far to the right and you've had to loosen your right disc out, and your brake is still too loose, if you want to tighten it just so it doesn't take as many clicks to strengthen the brake, you just want to pull this up, pull your brake cable with your left hand, and I'm like kind of holding it and I'm pulling the brake cable at the same time. It's a little difficult if you've never done it. And then I will tighten the nut on this so it gives tension on the brake cable. So the brake cable, in a sense, is holding this lever up. Then when I'm engaging the brake from up here, every click is moving this up, the arm, which is pushing your inside pad in. Every click is pushing the inside brake pad in to hit the disc. These are the two ways to move the outside and inside brake pad.
And I'm not seeing light.
So
on
you're
that
not
inside.
seeing because I tightened it too much. That's what happened. So it's going to be rubbing now.
Yeah, it's a steady rub.
See, so it's a steady rub. So I pulled this and pulled it too much, and when I tightened it, this arm was up too much. Now, again, this is all about the feel and trial and error, unless you get it down really. So I'm just loosening it a little, and then
you drop that arm slightly, right?
Yep, the arm is dropped just slightly. You might not have even seen it. It was so slight, and then I
saw it through the camera.
I tighten it up again, nice and tight.
Okay.
And again, it's rubbing slightly. Yeah, I can pause it. So, if you're looking at the disc now, you can see that there's a gap on both sides from the inside and outside brake pad.
Yep.
Now again, because I loosened the inside a little, my braking power isn't as much as it was originally. So to fix this, you can, if you're looking, it looks like my outside pad is a little bit far away from the inside, so I'm just going to tighten that up. It's all about centering the disc between the two pads. It's literally trial and error, playing around with both sides. It's rubbed a little. I'm backing it off a tad, and now I have it perfect. I have my braking.
That's great.
So it's really just, if you're not used to it, it's definitely trial and error. Those are the two areas you're going to use to manipulate the inside and outside pad. I hope that helps you if you have any issues. I know I don't explain it the best, but
did fantastic.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call. We're going to explain to you how we do it on the ground. I obviously have it in a vise, which makes it easier for me right now. And we can show you a couple tips on how to do it if it's on the ground and with wheel covers, because that makes it a little bit more difficult. With an object in the way, you're going to have to take the wheel off every time. Hi, we're back here. We're about to show you how to assemble your blade with your wheels, and how to show you how to put the pins in your tires here, and your wheels, sorry. So for your front wheel, you're going to get, for your front and your left wheel, you're going to get these two pins. These two pins should only be used in the front and the left side of your blade, not the brake side. Your brake side will have a separate pin. When you're looking at your front wheel here, you're going to have a flush side, which is flat, and then you're going to have an indented side over here. You're going to want to push your pin, hold that down, and put it through the hub of your wheel so the nut sits in the indented side like that, and it obviously comes out this side. We're then going to throw this on the front part of your blade, which, if you're looking at it from behind, always goes on this side. It doesn't go out on this side. It always goes on the right side of the blade. You want to make sure that this comes out and engages completely.
Can you show them non-engaged?
This is non-engaged. You can see it's it's just not completely engaged like this one. This one, what is that, brass or? The pin is completely out. So if I engage it, if I push it in, you see it engaged, it pops out. And on the other side over here, it's flush. You don't, when it's not engaged, this will be popping this will pop out if it's not engaged. That is engaged. This is not engaged. So that goes for the left side of your blade also. Just as the front, the left side is the same.
I'm going to stand behind Mike.
Yeah.
That way,
Yep.
we can see that it is the
Yep.
left. If you want to come around the other
Yep.
side.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
So I have my pin all the way in my hub here. It's going all the way through, all the way. I can't push it any further. And we're gonna put it in on the left side here. And make sure it is engaged, which it is. And now, this is how I personally like to do it. I will pull this back and using it as leverage to hold the side up so the brake doesn't, hit the ground. And I just kind of walk and I will pull it out all the way until it hits the triangle down here. You want to make sure it's pulled all the way back, and so it's hitting up in here. I can't go any further back. Now, this is the brake side, which will be a little bit harder than the other two wheels. So here you can see you have your disc and you have your brass. Your brass, I glue it in when you get it, so it shouldn't be falling out. If it does, I'm sorry, but it has to be, you have to make sure it comes back in like so. And it sits nice and flush there, and it's nice and flush here at the other side of the hub. Now what we're going to do is, this is the pin that is for your brake side. It is different from the other two pins. This is the only pin that will work on your brake side. It's longer and it's just measured accurately to fit with the brass. It also comes with this washer that's on it. It must stay on this pin. You cannot use this pin unless you have this washer on it. If you don't have it, we can always send you some new ones. The size is exactly what it needs to be. If you were to use a different washer, it needs to be the exact same size of this. So now, to put your disc wheel on, I'm gonna put the pin from the flush side here, the other side of the disc. You're gonna push it in until it's flush like that. I'm not pushing it all the way out. I'm keeping it flush, which your brass will stay like that when you get it if it's glued in and the glue has held. So you're gonna keep it flush like that. That's to make it easiest, you wanna do this. You don't wanna try to line the disc up and then put the pin through it. You're gonna be fussing around with it. Also, you can see how I'm holding the chair with my body. I'm holding it with my hip, with the head tube here. It's literally into my hip, and I can kind of just lower it down as needed. I don't even have to use my arm. This is just me I've been used to it, so this is just how I do it. So now, with your disc here, you're gonna wanna line it up with the brake from below and just kind of line it up to the middle. Try to see that this is lining up here and just give it a slight little push and push it in. And then, yep, you're engaged. And make sure it's engaged. If this is not engaged, again, it's a danger. You don't want to ride without this being engaged. I'm just gonna try to. That's what it looks like when it's not engaged. It is not engaged there. You can hear the pop and you can see it, and nothing's moving. All right, so you have all three wheels on, and I've been hearing that some people are having issues getting the disc wheel off because it is not the same as the other two wheels. The other two wheels are very simplistic. You just pull them off and they come off, like this one. It's a little rough, but it comes right off. For the disc, again, I'm gonna hold the chair up on my hip like I showed before. And with the disc, I'm just gonna hold under here with my hand. I'm not using this hand for anything besides just to hold the wheel when it falls down. And I'm just gonna only pull the pin. Just easily, I'm pulling the pin until the tire just drops itself. My hand is here just to catch it. And I'll show it again real quick. Again, when you're putting it on, flush with the pin and the brass. Line it up into the brake and between the brake pads, and then just push the pin in till it engages. Again, taking it off, I'm just pulling the pin itself until the wheel falls right down. Now, again, if you need to adjust the brake and you have wheel covers on, this is what you're going to do to have to take the wheel off every time to adjust either your outside pad. It's really only to adjust the outside pad. To adjust the inside pad, you can keep the wheel on. To do that, you would just have to bend down to loosen the brake cable and to adjust the arm on the left side. Again, it's all in feel, and the more you do it, the easier it will become.